everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate, where we talk about everything real estate. Today we're going to talk about the 7 deadly sins of home buying. And these are sins that some are common, some are not, but they are sins that keep home buyers from getting their offer in on time, getting it seriously considered, and ultimately purchasing the home that they want to buy. So let's get into the 7 deadly sins and penance for each one that will help us avoid each of these sins. Sin number 1, don't have a household budget. Wait to create a family financial plan after you start looking for a home. Don't have any spending or savings priorities, and search for homes based on your mortgage qualifying limit, not on how much you want to spend. A little bit more on that in a second. So, what's the penance for all that? Well, have a comprehensive financial plan before you start your home search. Budget for all of your short and long-term expenses, and by long-term, we do mean retirement and things that could be 40, 50, even 60 years out, if you intend to live that long, and hopefully you all will. So also prioritize your spending and savings goals. You might have periods in your life down the road or even tomorrow where you're not going to make as much money as you need to achieve your plan, so you're going to have to cut somewhere. So already have those spending and saving plans and goals prioritized so that when you do have a glitch, you know how to absorb it. And then set your home purchase budget based on your financial plan, not on a borrowing limit. Now, when I started in real estate, I did start as a mortgage broker, and agents would send me potential buyers and say, well, have these people go through the pre-qualification process. Let me know how much they can borrow. That would be followed up usually with a phone call with the agent after the pre-qualification was done. They'd say, okay, how much do they qualify for? And I'd say, well, they qualify for $1 million home. However, based on their long-term financial plan, their savings, short and long-term expenses, they really don't want to spend any more than $800,000. And that's really the number that everybody should be focusing on. How much can you afford with consideration for everything else in your life going on? So sin number 2, just don't get pre-qualified for financing. Set a budget after you found the property you want. Don't ask lenders what documentation they're going to need when it's time to apply for a mortgage, and don't consider mortgage type options. Okay, now that obviously doesn't make sense. So how do we do our penance for mortgage pre-qualification? Simply get pre-qualified. Have that comprehensive family budget with prioritized short and long-term goals. Figure out how much you could spend or you are willing to spend, and explore all your reasonable mortgage options. If you're looking for a mortgage today, you probably want a fixed rate mortgage because we are seeing such low interest rates. And when interest rates are as low as they are now, it's almost impossible for them to go anywhere but up. So it's a good time to lock in long term, which is with a fixed rate mortgage. If you're paying cash, which just about everybody does, if you're not buying with 100% cash, you're probably putting some down. And whether it is that full amount or just the deposit, you're going to need to show that the money that you are paying is seasoned. So what is seasoning? Seasoning is showing proof that you have had that money in an account under your control for a minimum period of time. Very typical is 60 days. I've seen 90 days, 120 days. And the purpose of the seasoning requirement is to combat money laundering from illegal sources. In a typical money laundering scheme, money comes in from an illegal activity, and then when they want to buy real estate with it, they shove it into an account, they go out and buy some property, and they use that money to buy the property, because you don't have to show where the money came from, just that you've had it for a minimum period of time. Well, a lot of the money launderers, they want to move that money quickly. So the seasoning requirements that either your agent or your mortgage lender or even escrow, if you're paying all cash, that seasoning requirement is going to be in the form of a bank letter or a bank statement showing that it has been in account for a while. Okay, and then also have pre-qual and seasoning documents on hand that you can include with your offers. A mortgage pre-qualification showing that you've already met with a lender, or maybe two or three, or seasoning documents that show that the cash you're using is properly seasoned. When it's included with an offer, it adds weight to that offer. Sin number 3, don't have a written list of prioritized search and selection criteria. So yeah, just search online for days, drive around neighborhood after neighborhood, looking for a property that just hits you. Visit a lot of properties, whether they're in your price range or out, and then visit properties that don't meet your needs, because maybe you don't even know what they are yet if you haven't prioritized your list. So we don't want to do any of that. We want to attack our home buying and our home search with a plan. So have written and prioritized search and selection criteria, property location, features such as number of bedrooms, maybe you want an open floor plan. Discuss it with your brokers, what features are typically available to search using the local multiple listing service. And of course, size, whether it's the overall size of the house or the size of the land. Look at what you need in a neighborhood. If you are still working and need to commute, how far and convenient is that commute from the home you're looking at? How about the schools? Are the schools what you're looking for if you have kids going into them? And then look at the financial considerations of not only the mortgage pre-qualification, but the cost of utilities, upkeep, total cost of ownership. Sin number 4, rely on the internet to preview properties. Assume that descriptions, disclosures, and photos will disclose all the warts. If there's a problem, sure, they'll feature it just as much as the good features. Make an offer prior to visiting the property. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean you don't want it, right? Don't do online search to see if the property, the neighborhood, the schools have been in the news. And by that, I mean in the news in a bad way. Maybe that the school is closing because so many kids, and we have seen this, especially in California, where a subdivision is built, families move in, the kids grow up, and they either go away to school, or they go away to the military, or they go away to get a job out of town. For some reason, the kids have grown up and left. All that you have now in the neighborhood, or the majority, become grandparents. Therefore, the school isn't needed anymore. So they close the school, and that the kids that do remain in the neighborhood are now going to ride buses to a school in another neighborhood. Maybe that school is not as good as the one that's about to close. If there's anything in the news like that, you definitely want to research it. So, don't rely on the internet. Visit the property prior to making an offer, and seek proof for claims being made in the listing. Now, as we have in our title, we are cozy, charming, crazy real estate. Cozy and charming are two code words used in real estate to mean small, perhaps old, in need of charming. Some people might consider that needs repair also, though there are other code words for that. But we're kind of making fun a little bit in our name by calling it cozy and charming. But you want to seek proof of claims for any words that describe the property. Another sin number 5, don't ask questions. Just go ahead and make assumptions and offer terms according to your priorities, not those of the seller. Well, that obviously is not a good way to go at putting together an offer. You're trying to convince the seller to choose your offer. So you need to think of the transaction from their point of view. Ask the seller, what are their offer acceptance requirements? What are their priorities? And do so by putting together, normally an email will do the trick, or a letter, but ask questions prior to making your offer. And these questions can be looking for just deeper information, or it could be to help you screen out whether or not that property truly meets your requirements. And ask about any previously undisclosed issues. Now, normally a competent broker, agent, and seller are going to disclose everything about the property that legally and ethically needs to be disclosed, but everyone usually has a question, so go ahead and write them down and ask the seller to answer your questions. Number 6, take your time preparing your purchase offer. Go ahead and you can go on vacation during the home selling season when most of the homes come on the market. Go on vacation, get busy with other things, and take a long time. Let other buyers grab the seller's attention while you're doing other things and you're kind of busy. And give those other buyers a chance to compete with you and drive up that price when you could have perhaps put your offer in right away and gotten the seller's attention. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to submit offers in a timely manner. We should start by having a basic set of offer features, things that we know that we can do for that seller, and we want to prioritize offer preparation activities. Now, what that means is when a house becomes available that you are definitely interested in, it meets your criteria, drop everything you're doing within reason and prioritize getting that offer in. Be ready to do that during your home shopping time. And then be available after your offer goes in for follow-up encounters. If you are the first offer in and the seller wants to sell fast, you want to get that offer looked at and you want to get that into escrow before everyone else starts putting in their offers, which may be very competitive with yours. So be available for follow-up. If the seller wants to counter your offer, respond to it quickly. Basically, be available and get things done as quickly as possible. Sin number 7, have outside contingencies in your offer. Now, an outside contingency is a contingency not pertaining to the property. 2 weeks ago, we talked about that on Cozy Charming Crazy Real Estate. We talked about contingencies, and if you want to review those, that might help you to understand this if we're not clear here. But an outside contingency has nothing to do with the property. It has something to do with the buyer's outside transactions. And an example of that is a home sale. In other words, let's say we're a buyer and we own a home and we're going to put that home on the market and sell it so that we can move in to the new home that we're putting an offer in on. Well, an outside contingency would be a home sale contingency where we say we're not going to go through with this deal until our current home sells. Well, when most sellers see offers with contingencies like that, they put them on the bottom of the stack. They don't get a priority because they want to know when escrow is going to close. And they don't want to wait on your contingency. So, penance for sin number 7: don't require outside contingencies. Limit contingencies to those that have to do specifically with the property you're trying to buy, with the financing of that property, and have specific deadlines when you're going to release those contingencies. Again, when a seller gets into escrow, they want to rely on the dates that are planned, when escrow will close, when they're going to move out, and when, bottom line, they're going to have their money. So do limit your contingencies and have very specifics for when they will be done. So those are the 7 deadly sins of home buying. I hope you will not commit any of them. Do discuss some of the topics that we've discussed here with your broker if you are out actively looking. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, North Bay or East Bay, and you don't have a broker, I hope you will call Cordon Real Estate and we will take care of you. Just follow the links and the Cordon Real Estate information found in below. Or just go to cordonrealestate.com. That's CORDON realestate.com. If you like this video, please hit like. If you want to continue viewing cozy, charming, crazy real estate, I hope you will subscribe. And also in the comments, if you have an idea or a question for a future video, please leave it below too. And we look forward to seeing you next week on cozy, charming, crazy real estate. Take care.